At my retirement party, my boss smiled and said, "At least you'll finally have more time with your kids." I froze with a forkful of sheet cake halfway to my mouth. "I don't have kids," I said, and the room kept smiling like I told a joke. Gerald laughed. "Sure you do. 2 of them. You talk about them all the time." Linda from accounting nodded. "Your daughter plays soccer. Your son loves dinosaurs." My stomach dropped. 23 years at this company, and I'd never mentioned children because I didn't have any. I couldn't. "Then what are their names?" I asked. Gerald didn't blink. "Emma and Tyler." My hands went cold. Those were the names my wife and I had picked years ago, before we quietly gave up and never spoke about it again. My wife and I had tried for 8 years. Tests, injections, that weird optimism you force on yourself. Then the miscarriages happened. Then the silence. Work was the one place I didn't have to explain the hole in my life. I stared at him. "How do you know those names?" His grin twitched. "You told us, Marcus, like 100 times." People around us nodded like it was obvious. And suddenly, I was the crazy one for not remembering their reality. "Last month you left early for Emma's recital," Gerald added. "I left early for a dental appointment," I said. It was on the shared calendar. It said dentist. David from my team stepped in. "Dude, you showed me pictures of them. In the break room." "No, I didn't," I said, already shaking. "Yes, you did," he insisted, and his confidence made my skin crawl. I pulled out my phone and opened my photos. No kids, just my wife, a dog, and random vacation shots. I shoved the screen toward David. "Show me." "Which picture?" He leaned in. His face drained so fast I thought he might faint. "They were right here," he whispered, like the images had evaporated. The room went quiet in that awful way where everyone decides you're having a breakdown. Gerald cleared his throat. "All right, let's give Marcus some space." People scattered with their plastic forks, leaving me alone with balloons that said congrats and a life I didn't recognize. I went home early and told my wife everything. I expected her to laugh or get angry or tell me I misheard. Instead, she went pale and sat down hard on the couch. "3 weeks ago," she said, "a woman from your office called me." My chest tightened. "Why?" "She wanted to help plan Emma's birthday party. She said you were stressed about it." That's when it clicked. Someone wasn't just gossiping. Someone had been planting a story about me, feeding it to everyone in small, believable bites until it felt real, and I knew exactly who had hated me long enough to do something this sick. 6 months earlier, I'd gone to HR about a guy named Brennan. He kept making nasty little comments, always when no one else was listening. HR promised they'd handle it. 2 weeks later, Brennan got promoted and moved 3 desks away from Gerald. The next morning, I walked into HR with my hands flat on the counter. "I want my file," I said. They stalled. Then they finally printed it. Inside were write-ups I'd never seen. Left early for child emergency, declining focus due to parental stress, a formal note from Gerald about my constant family distractions. I stared at the paper trail like it was a crime scene. Someone had built an entire fake family for me and used it to slowly bury me alive at my own job. It wasn't a prank. It was a weapon. I hired a lawyer that afternoon. 3 months later, discovery hit like a truck. Hundreds of emails, a fake account, messages sent to my coworkers from me, updates about Emma's games, Tyler's dinosaur obsession, fake photos stolen from stock image sites, a whole fictional life carefully maintained, one lie at a time. He didn't just want me embarrassed. He wanted me doubting my own mind. When Brennan finally sat across from me in the deposition room, he looked almost proud. I asked him, "Why?" He smiled and said, "You got me written up. I wanted you to know what it feels like to lose everything because of a lie." He didn't get the ending he wanted. He's facing criminal charges now. Identity fraud, harassment. The company settled fast and quiet, like they were trying to erase the mess they helped make. They threw me another retirement party after the lawyers were done. This time, Gerald looked like he was swallowing nails when he handed me the microphone. He cleared his throat and said, "We'll miss you, Marcus." I took a breath, looked around at all the same faces, and smiled back. "Thanks," I said, "and just so we're all clear, I'm still not a dad."